Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
The number one selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Support comes from ServiceNow. We're for people doing the creative work they actually want to do. That's why this ad was written and read by a real person and not AI. You know what people don't want to do? Boring, busy work. Now with AI agents built into the ServiceNow platform, you can automate millions of repetitive tasks in every corner of your business, IT, HR, and more, so your people can focus on the work that they want to do. That's putting AI agents to work for people. It's your turn. Visit servicenow.com.
Welcome to Don't Blame Me, a call-in, write-in advice show hosted by two people that know how to keep their mouth shut when needed.
When needed is a really good addition specifically for me.
That's why I put it on there. Hi, I'm Melissa Diamond Mont.
Hi, I'm Megan. There's only one name, much like Cher.
But there's a lot of Megan, so...
Yeah, so I align myself with the Meghan Markles. I don't align myself with the Meghan McCains, nor the Meghan who wants a bouncy house at every protest, nor...
What about the Stallion?
Well, I was going back and forth.
Okay.
I do align with the Stallion, possibly, because I think she's probably cool. The girl Meghan from Camp Rock.
Don't know who that is.
She was a blonde Meghan on TV when I was a kid, and I was like, she had extra letters, like beyond my extra letters.
The extra E's and A's.
Yeah. Which to me, an extra vowel in it, like that, I'm like, that's a commitment that I bet you're correcting people all the time. Because vowels are what trip people up.
Mm-hmm.
The consonants, people go, I'm just going to ignore that.
Yeah. Well, my sister Megan, that's another one. She's cool. You participate by sending an email to meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Keep it to 300 words or less if you're 18 or younger. Honestly, don't listen. At this point, we're too old for that.
We're too old for that
Years ago, it was fine. Too old.
And here's the other part. You're more than welcome to listen to old episodes. That's totally fine. When you turn, I do like that people, like, they respect when they join the Patreon. They go, so I'm like 18, 19 now, so I'm joining the Patreon. And we're all like, well, we're happy to have you, but good God.
Yeah. Like my niece just turned 18 and she's now doing my social media stuff on my business account. And she sees the description and she said, I listened in class. Y'all got all the tea. And I said, fine. She basically already graduated. She's just there. So, whatever. You can listen. Just don't tell me about it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's like, I don't need to know.
So if you're 18, we're changing our stance today on April 17th. No more under 18 years.
Yeah. Also, when's the last time? That's one of Mary's favorite calls where someone's like, hi. So like, I'm like, I think they said hi. Like I'm
16.
I'm 16. And we just went, nope. And we just hung up. And
well, it was also because they were like wanting sex advice.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I did like the one that called with finding out that her parents were in an open relationship. That one was fine,
Well, yeah,
but
'cause
that
his
was
parents
also
were-
because, her mom was participating with her. They listened together. But other than that, no. Provide your pronouns if you want. Give us a synopsis at the top. Makes it easier for us.
We've got a form, and it is linked in the description of the show. And it is also on our social media in the bio. And you can also leave a voicemail, 310-694-0976. And for that one, under 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm. You will get cut off, not us.
Yeah. We have no control over it. And you can't, we don't splice multiple ones together. You have to keep it under 3 minutes. So write it down, get all the information out that you want, practice it, and then just read it aloud. It's really, we're not picky, no pressure. You want to use a voice changer? Go for it. But you could also just write it down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's any free voice changers.
You can go on TikTok, download it, then send it to us.
And I will say, though, that the most important thing is telling us how old you are. Because we need the crucial information because it determines the advice that we give. And think of just numbers as important because I hate numbers, but in this case, they are important. So how old are you? If it's about a relationship, how long have you been together? How old is your partner? If it's about a friendship. Oh, we're roommates. How long have you lived together? How much longer are you going to, you know what I mean? All of those things. This person owes me money. How much money?
Mm-hmm.
Give us the numbers.
Yeah.
And speaking of money, join our Patreon. Please. It's a great time. We have so much fun. We do live streams twice a month. Truly, if you are moving to a new city or you've moved to a new city or even going through a transitional phase in your life, we can set you up with friends. I'm not kidding.
We're friendship. Somebody recently sent us pictures of them hanging out. All right. Should we get into the first one?
I think we shall. I started a new job 1 month ago in a new industry. I was so bored and miserable in my old job. I have a master's and I wasn't getting the income that I knew I could, but I got comfortable there and I stayed too long. This new industry just isn't what I wanted to do. Neither was the old one, but I want to do this type of work, project management. I'm sad at my new job too. It's not that I'm not shy to hard work, but I just don't feel like this is my forever place and I'm not getting trained well at all. I feel like I just made the right decision since it's a great resume builder. I have tons of hobbies and things outside of work, but I'm at work 40 hours a week. Advice on how not to be sad about missing my old job and not loving this one and what to do to be happier while I'm at work. I used to fill my time when I was bored at other job with audiobooks and YouTube, but that's not a possibility here.
Money.
This person's also 29.
Right.
Her.
Jobs, unless you're doing something that you have created from yourself, it's not going to be completely satisfying. And I know they say money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you a lot more than what you were doing before. And you can invest in yourself and invest in other hobbies that will make your job better. And at your other job, you were doing things that that aren't your job. That's why it was making you were happier doing it because you weren't working. You had time to do other things like watch YouTube and listen to audiobooks. Now
you have money.
You have to work. Unfortunately, we live in a capitalistic society and you have to work. And if you're making double of what you were making before, you have to earn your paycheck. I know that is rich. There are people that actually do not earn their paychecks that make a ton of money. Yeah. But
unfortunately, we're not those people. And if you are, join our Patreon.
Right.
Give us some money. Distribute the wealth.
Right. So you're at work and earn your paycheck and then go home. And I'm about to say this and sound ridiculous, but you're only working 40 hours a week. For me, I work 60 to 70 hours a week. So working a solid 40 would be a dream. But again, I don't work in your industry. I have my own business. So that's part of what I do.
Yeah.
And that's the life that I've chosen. But work your 40 hours, go to happy hour, go hang out with your friends. You have plenty of time to do other things outside of work.
Plan a vacation. I think that's right now what you did at your old job, you had time. What you have now is money. And that's a trade-off there. And so use that money. But I'm a big believer in once you start making money, spend that money on experiences. Don't save it for one experience like after like 5 years or whatever, but like in general, like get comfortable spending on like everyday things that make your life and make the work that you're putting into your job less miserable. Like it needs to feel worth it. And for you right now, it's like, you know, you don't have as much downtime in the everyday, but you can probably like, you know, request time off and plan a vacation somewhere like really nice that you want to do and do something like that. Like, I think that to me is a way to enjoy your job more because the job of what the benefits the job brings you. But like, also I acknowledge that like, I truly cannot like relate to the industry and the work that you're doing. But in general, like Melissa said, like, unless you've like started your own company and like, I am biased and I tend to think like, unless you work in a creative field or a field that really like makes a difference, like really helps people, that doesn't have like the downsides, like being a doctor where like, if you're saving lives, you're also not saving lives. Like there is like, it's a trade-off. And if you're in a job where the stakes aren't that high, but is like incredibly fucking rewarding, like that is like such a deep anomaly. And most of those jobs don't make a lot of money. So I think in general, like when you think about like, oh, I really want to like enjoy my job and like make it more fun. What do you have fun doing? Like, is project management like that's not what you do on your free time. Do you know what I mean? So like, there's a way that you can like enjoy the people that you work with, enjoy the company that you work for, enjoy the hours that you have. But like at the end of the day, if like your hobbies include, you know, knitting and your cat, I don't know that like a corporate job is going to give you that like same happiness and fulfillment as your off time does. So I think like making sure that your off time is like enriching in a way that's not just, oh, let me decompress from work. And I understand that like not everybody can have plans after work every day, but like that's why I'm like stressing like vacations, staycations, like going to like planning to go to a concert with a friend or whatever. That's like a great way to see the money that you've actually earned and like utilize it, not just like, I mean, have a 401k, but like you should be able to spend some money.
Yeah. And also like, and usually like with a corporate job, 401k is built into your job as it is. But like, what does your house like, your home look like? Does it look like something that you enjoy going to? Take that, again, you doubled your income. I don't know if you've moved out of where you were living before or you're living in the same place. Make that space like some place that you want to go to. Take time to, if you like cooking or something, or if you've always wanted to learn how to cook, that way, like that gives you something to look forward to when you get off of work. Like give yourself daily rewards that are things that are investing into what you already have.
Yeah, and you're right. And like new things that you haven't like, when you're going home routine and your weekend routine shouldn't be the exact same it has been, because then it's like, you don't feel the difference of making the money because you just probably are putting more money in savings.
Right.
And that's like lovely and wonderful and put your money in savings, but you
enjoy your money too.
Yeah, you need to enjoy it. Otherwise, you will just...
What's the point? You could have just stayed at the other job where you had more free time and you didn't need more money.
And I will say, I think like as someone who, you know, Matt always says not to like be down on myself, but I'm like, you know, there's a likelihood that I've peaked in the amount of money I would like took in one calendar year, which is fun and why I invested and why I like did all of that stuff. But I would say that like as someone who did not grow up with money, who then was able to make a pretty good amount of money before my friends could in my like earlier, like I fucking loved getting gifts for friends. Like I loved that. Like I loved like being able to like buy a plane ticket and go visit a friend. So there's something there too about if you feel like if it's hard for you to spend money on yourself, spending money on experiences with the people you love.
All right. Let's take a break.
You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice.
Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. There are many ways to entice a potential new customer with flashy branding and calculated marketing strategies. But at the end of the day, the success of a business comes down to the ability to close the sale. And for businesses like Thrive Cosmetics, Allbirds, or Skims, it's what goes on behind the scenes, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple that makes the difference. For them and for millions of businesses, that difference is made with Shopify. Businesses that want to grow, grow with Shopify. Because if your goal is growth, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And Shopify will make sure you're ready. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And with Shop Pay, they boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. It's no wonder Shopify is home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/realm. I love a multi-use beauty product, like an eye/cheek/lipstick. It makes a full face so much easier, plus you only need to bring one product along for touch-ups. And whether you're all about simple mascara and gloss, or you love to play with bold shapes and colors, you gotta have that trusty favorite you turn to for every look. Thrive Cosmetics makes certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free products you can depend on for everything from simple daily wear to show-stopping self-expression. And it's all made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, high-performance and trademarked formulas, and uncompromising standards. And Thrive Cosmetics is beauty that gives back. For every product purchased, they make a donation towards 8 major causes, including social justice organizations and those impacted by cancer and homelessness. It feels good knowing that when I purchase a product, I'm also able to give back to causes that matter to me. And one product I love from Thrive Cosmetics is the Brilliant Eye Brightener. Like I said, I love a product that can have multiple uses, and the Brilliant Eye Brightener is just that. It's an eyeshadow and highlighter stick that's super blendable, and I'm slowly but surely stocking up on the 31 shades that it comes in. Try your new trusty favorites with an exclusive set for our listeners. New customers can get the Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara and a mini-sized Brilliant Eye Brightener at a special set price with free shipping available at thrivecosmetics.com/thrive. Or save more with 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/thrive. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/thrive for 20% off your first order.
We're back from our break.
Before we get into the next one, we're going to share some reviews, thoughts that people left on our Spotify, which you can do by episode. And this is actually from our Fisting Friday. And if you missed that episode, we talked about potentially going on tour.
Oh, yes.
And so Meg said, I know we're not in the top 10, but come to Toronto.
Toronto.
Sydney said, please come to NYC, but also I'm willing to go down to DC if needed.
Okay. Good to know.
Good to know. Then Sophia said, New Zealand listener here. I didn't know there was another one.
We got another Kiwi.
We do. Would 1000% see you guys on tour. I'd even fly to Australia to see y'all. I think there's Moorville in New Zealand, though, that we know of in our Patreon.
Aussies, sound off. Let us know, because we know more personally in like our Patreon. We know more New Zealanders. We do know a couple Aussies, but we know more New Zealanders.
Right. And then Helena, but not the Helena that is in our Patreon that I know. Yeah. Definitely not that one, because they said, need a tour. I can bring Meghan all the Wisconsin merch she wants. I want merch too.
Scotty.
And then Brianna, not the other Brie that we know, said, hey, representing Dallas, please come here. If you tour in like early spring or late fall, it won't be as hot, LOL.
Thank you for that. That is actually deeply helpful, because that is the greatest barrier. Like I said, my Great Barrier Reef is the heat in Texas.
I need to know Texas/Georgia people, where would be a good central location? Houston? I don't know. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get into the next one.
Hello, Meghan and Melisa. I am incredibly pale. However, my best friends, let's call them Amy and Becky, are not. Amy in particular has an annual routine of getting ready for summer by working out more and getting a tan. A little over a month ago, that is not where I thought you were going with this. A little over a month ago, Amy told me and Becky that she was planning a day trip to Nude Beach so she could get some natural color without tan lines. Much to my surprise, Becky was also very enthusiastic about the idea of going to a nude beach. I, on the other hand, burn incredibly easily. Swimsuit or birthday suit, a whole beach day trip has never really been an option for me. In the week since, they've clearly been having a lot of fun planning their trip. They've been bonding over the excitement, and they have this sort of camaraderie thing about the whole nudity aspect while I'm feeling left out. It's particularly frustrating because the whole naked thing is not really an issue for me. I feel pretty confident about my body. I sort of like being naked in general. If there was a version of this that happened at night, it's just called streaking. I would think it'd be fun. I would think it would be so fun and freeing. I just know the hard truth that my butt will cook in 20 minutes in the sun. I'm not really sure what to do, but I feel like I want to go have fun with my friends. Maybe if I can get a beach umbrella down and hike to this place, I'll be all right. On the other hand, maybe I should just let them go and have a good time, and I'll try and get over the FOMO. I would love to hear your input. Well, they're also bonding over
being naked together.
Well, skin dance, committing to.
You know, we used to have once a year. We used to have like, this is the porn episode. Now it's like we have a nudity one
naked
now,
episode,
a naked with friends episode.
Yeah, and you're talking to two girlies who love nudity.
Love naked.
Big fan of being naked.
Love nakedness.
I don't want you to compromise because you are putting your health first. Like, regardless if they tan naturally or getting a good base summer color, like, no matter the pigment of your skin, no matter the melanin, no matter what shade, what tone, you can get skin cancer. Like, it is any sort of shift from and change in color in your skin, specifically for someone like you, Ryder, who is, you're like, I'm very pale. That is, it's not healthy. It's like, it's not good for your skin. So I think that as long, like, whatever you decide to do, as long as it is not like, oh, I'm going to compromise getting burned so I don't have FOMO with my friends. Because I'm going to tell you right now, as somebody who has gotten like really bad sunburns, you then can't hang out with your friends. You can't even move. You're just like laying there. Like, it's just truly not worth it in that aspect. And I think if you can find a way to either, bring the shaded thing down, at least for me, I don't know how hot it gets where you are, but like, I can't fuck with being too hot for too long. So like, as long as you're not sacrificing your comfort level as well as your health. But the other part is like, this might happen moving forward, that you can't find a way to do it within your own comfort system. So I also think, like, at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out and there's not a way for you to do it like safely or comfortably, I think it's a good exercise in like understanding that people are going to have relationships outside of you, and like, that's hurtful. But like, what if they then get into like tanning in beds together?
Yuck.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I am not pale, but I have been sunburned before, and that goes back to Megan saying anybody with any type of skin can get sunburned, and it was painful. I've also been severely dehydrated after hanging out with friends because I was not putting my health first and like not getting out the pool to drink water and do what I needed to do. And then I missed out well, first of all, I had to go to the hospital, which was, they kept trying to poke me. I think this is actually where my needle phobia started, because they kept trying to poke me, and
you're dehydrated.
I'm dehydrated. So therefore they could not poke me.
Yeah, mine started with a phlebotomist on their first day, and I was also dehydrated, and they just were brand new. So yeah, that's
Yes.
probably where both of ours started.
And so then I missed out on the fun the next day and the next day because I didn't put my health first on the initial day. So if you put your health first, then you will be in a better position. And just like, I don't see why you can't bring an umbrella and also like making sure you're slathered down in sunscreen, of course. That's not going to 100% help you, but it will be of an assistance. Or maybe even though the UV is still high, maybe joining them later in the day or something like that, where you're not there during peak time where the sun is up. Yeah. But again, put your health first. This isn't it. This may be something that you cannot do. There are things that you can't do because of conditions that you have. There are things that I can't do because of conditions I have.
And like, it totally sucks. And like, it can feel like, damn, I'm being left out. And like, also the thing I would really like consider if I were you is the modified version of doing that. How will that make you feel? Will you feel good and will you feel included? Or will you feel a sense of self-induced peer pressure to assimilate in a way that feels more standard with the rest of what everybody else is doing? And like, I'm a big proponent and a big believer of like, hey, if you like, you know, whatever accommodations and things that you need in a situation to be safe and healthy, like you should do that. But like, I'm not an idiot. Like, I also have that feeling of like, when you're the only one who's doing this or feeling this way or needing something, like it feels isolating. And so sometimes we don't always seek that out. And we kind of push ourselves a little bit too hard. So yeah, I think there's ways to do it. I will say at the end of the day, because it is nudity, like you are going to be exposing your body to more potential sun damage than you would be if just like an everyday summer when you're wearing like, you know, UV protected clothes or whatever that is. But something that you can do that. And then at the end of the day, I would just 100% make sure that you take your own, like I would probably take my own car if I have to drive so I can like leave early, because like sun poisoning, like Melissa said, dehydration, all of that kind of stuff, you really gotta work at to make sure that it doesn't ruin the rest of your weekend.
All right, we're gonna take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into some more.
Faraday presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el Jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
Are we still on the trail? Is this pack getting heavier? More switchbacks? Why am I doing this?
At REI Co-op, we believe there are places within ourselves.
Just a little further. You got this.
That we find only outside.
Wow. Look at the stars. This is incredible.
We have the gear, inspiration, and advice to help you get there. REI Co-op. Visit rei.com.
Canva presents your work horoscope for this week. Deadlines are in retrograde, which we all know can bring some intense energy. Our advice: fend off this forecast with Canva. Like Canva whiteboards to counter creative blocks, and Canva docs for clarity in communications. If you have any sales deals coming through, results will be in your favor with Canva presentations, manifesting many wins for you. It's a great week to love your work at canva.com.
We're back, and here's another one. This person is 29, she, her. Me and Becky, 30, know each other through mutual friend Bella, 30.
This is the second Becky we've had.
It is. I see Becky maybe once a year because of E.g. Bella's birthday. I gave birth on New Year's Eve, and Becky has a son, 1, and pregnant with her 2nd. When she found out I was pregnant during summer, we exchanged a few messages, but it was in text, and I could just like the message if I didn't have anything to add or ask. My type of person. Until we saw each other 1.5 months ago. She was on the phone Me and my husband, 30, and our baby were just walking in the city. We waved and went on our way. She messaged me right after that we should have waited to chat. She showed no signs that she wanted to talk to us. And that's when it started. At first, it was a few messages back and forth, how me and my family are doing. Then she started sending voice messages ranging from 1 to 12 minutes long about topics from babies to why we chose our professions. She works in IT and I'm a psychologist. Honestly, it's so exhausting. She sends me 4 to 7 voice memos that give questions for me, but also just explain herself, e.g., how she planned to find a husband until her 25th birthday so she could try to have 2 babies until she is 30, or how she chose their apartment that they live in. Mind you, I did not ask her any of this information. She is very direct, perfectionist, very busy. I don't like that much.
Which part?
I don't know, but I can't keep up with the voices and want them to stop.
Stop the voices?
How can I do that? I can't ignore her because of Bella, and we see each other someday. Give this girl a microphone and she can have her own podcast that no one listens to. I don't, first, like, y'all you're just cordial before in a way that we have a mutual friend. We don't really talk. To her, seeing you on the street and that initiating these voice memos, no thank you. How to get her to stop responding to them.
You have to.
Put your phone on mute for her messages and just stop responding, because that's the only way. When you engage, that's encouraging her, even though you're just liking them. It's still encouraging her to communicate. And maybe also have a little chat with Bella, because sometimes that in-between friend can help with mitigating this weirdness with Becky.
Yeah, especially because the reason why you're like, I can't really set a hard boundary because I'm going to see her with like any of Bella's like birthdays and all that kind of stuff. So like tell Bella, like, hey, what should I do? And like, here's the thing, like she's clearly lonely. She's clearly like looking for a friend, and that is great. That's not great that she's lonely, but it's great that she's looking for a friend. It's great that she's making the effort. I do think like we all kind of owe it to each other for like, as someone who has been the person trying to make a new friend, and also as someone who has like had people try and become friends with me, like if you are not have the capacity to make new friends, like like politely like make sure that that person knows that, because like putting all of that effort into something that's like not going to be someone who has the capacity for friendship right now, that time and energy can be better spent to somebody who is ready for that. And so I think that like I would talk to Bella, and then I would really, really, really slow down, like molasses it. So like you miss a text, and I've done this, but like, you know, you reply like 2 weeks later being like, haha, sorry, just saw this. And then,
wow,
that's it.
You told me that this morning.
That was one day. That was 12 fucking hours. And also I text everybody that all the time, but like weeks later. And like, sometimes I do that. I mean it, like
fishy.
By the way, pea brain. So I go, I don't know, I saw this, but like doing something that it's like extending the period between responding, because and then if she responds right away, don't respond right away. Like, does she need your response? Like, does she? It doesn't seem like there's much of a back and forth conversation going on. Like, you're not really answering. And like, yeah, maybe she needs a microphone and a platform. But also like, what if you just hung out with her in person? Do you like her as a person?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Live close enough where you run into her on the street.
Yeah. Like, or you just like not looking for new friends, or is she not the kind of person that like you really vibe with? But
yeah,
like,
there are plenty of people I don't vibe with that they try to trap me into
totally.
friendship.
Yeah. But I just think that like you have to make a decision in a call of like, what level are you comfortable with like keeping pleasantries when she is friends with one of your other very good friends? Because like, if the keeping the pleasantries might be these 12-minute long voice memos. And like, to me, that's just like too much. Like maybe you have you go to a workout class and you're like, hey, do you want to come? Or like, you say, hey, I'm going to the park.
Talk.
Yeah. Heading out to go see a movie. Like if there's a format that you like her better in and you feel obligated and like, you're like, there's no way that I'm cutting off contact with this person entirely. I have to maintain a relationship with them. What version of them is most conducive to a friendship that you would be cool with in your life? And if it's like, oh, just seeing her once a year at a birthday party. Unfortunately, I feel like that ship has sailed. You got, they would like to upgrade to a premium membership.
Mm-hmm.
What can you offer? Can you offer coffee? Can you offer a walk? Can you offer going to a movie?
Play date with the children.
There you go. This is tough. I'm going to tell you right now, I would be like, and this is where my friendship has to end with Bella, because I can't do this.
All right. Well, next one.
Yeah.
Hey, Megan, Melissa, and possible guest. I am so excited to be talking to you about and ask you for advice. I am currently in my second ever Friends with Benefits situation. My first one was really more like a one-night stand. One instance. This has been more of a consistent situation. It is actually my boss from when I was in college at a job that I worked, but I followed up with him after graduation. We're like 4 or 5 years post-grad now and are friends with benefits. But I want to be able to bring some toys into the bedroom with him, but I'm not sure how to bring that up because we never hang out at my apartment. I've got to protect my peace, my space, my vibes, so I don't let straight men into my space, except for like my brother. But so I can't just mention it and pull one out of my bedside table. I'd have to bring one with me. And I'm also usually not bringing a spend a night bag to his house because I usually put my clothes on and leave immediately after. I'm not staying even to cuddle. We are there for a reason. There's a reason for the season and the visit. So please help. How do I bring up the fact that I would like to use my vibrator while I'm being fucked by Mr. Mans, who is also, I think this just adds to it as well, a semi-pro wrestler. If you would like a follow-up, I could give you his name and you could look him up on Instagram. He is on TV a couple times a week. And it's pretty hilarious, but I'm just banging him. I love you guys so much. Please help. Bye.
You better be getting tossed around. Yes, of course we want pictures.
Yes, this should have been included. You should have sent us an email immediately.
Everybody, please do. DMs. When you have hey, I actually have a forensic file. Send it. We do not blast out. The only business we blast personally is what you share that you want to be blasted personally. We will never. Right. Ever. And a lot of time we self-censor. Sometimes we think you all say too much about maybe where you live or whatever, and we change it.
Right.
So please, good God, I need to see.
This man is an actor. He is used to props.
I was about to say he loves
he is used to a
stage direction.
Yes, given stage direction. He is used to being told what to do, how to do it safely, and when to do it. Therefore, I believe that if you brought a prop to the bedroom, as long as you told him
as long as you
what to
action.
do, how you like it, where you want it, he was going to be down. I don't see what's wrong with bringing it with you. When you were talking, Megan had made the joke of backpack, and I was like, yeah, a lesbian bringing a strap.
Yeah, Mary Poppins bag.
But I don't see anything. I've brought vibrators with me before.
Mm-hmm.
And most men I would say all that I've been with are down with it. It adds to the excitement. Even put it on their balls a little bit. They like that.
They'll love it. They'll love it. Yeah. Mary Poppins, a Mary Poppins bag full of goodies and toys.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what to do with his body, and he knows when people tell him what to do with his body. Mm-hmm. So, set the scene, yell action, and perform, baby, perform.
Right.
I think in general, the thing that is important about, and like a really big distinction with like a friends with benefits fuck buddy situation is you should feel more comfortable asking for what you want in sex and like trying new things and all of that than you would with like the first date you have with someone who you have a massive crush on. Like this is like, it is a time to cut through the bullshit and also practice in the sense of like setting boundaries or saying what you like and figuring out what you like, because there's just like there's like a lack of pressure there. So I think this is like a perfect opportunity to do this. And also, if his ego gets hurt, that's like genuinely not your problem. Mm-hmm. And I'd be shocked if like anyone whose like ego gets hurt for this kind of stuff, either like you're like a Mormon or you are an incel. Like it is like your masculinity is like so deeply fragile because of a lack of sex education and like a big slut shamey sex education from like a religious background, or like a deep like rooted male insecurity, male loneliness epidemic, beta alpha sigma soylent soy boy kind of a thing. And both of those things are sorry, not soylent. Soy milk. But I saw this TikTok of this woman who was like, have you guys heard about Soylent Green? Like, this shit's crazy. And everyone's like, it's just a movie.
It's fake.
She was crazy. She said that McDonald's is in, they serve McDonald's in 10,000 hospitals in the US. And everyone's like, there's not 10,000 hospitals in the US. Like, this is just fake. We're just lying. So, and I was going to say, and both of those like those ways that you get that response, which again, I think it really like breaks into two things. It's like a religious thing or an incel thing, both of which are focused on like the shaming of women and the degrading of women. Those are personal problems. So like if he gets offended, this is not your boyfriend. This is not like, and even if it was your boyfriend, like this is not someone who you have to like the responsibility to like coddle and like any of that. Like, no, this should be fun. Like, and if this is going to be fun, and like if you want to be like flirty and like text him before, be like, hey, I brought something fun. But I just think in general, like throw your like little like bagoo bag, your little Lululemon crossbody, and then like whip it out.
Yeah, you shouldn't be ashamed of this. And any man that's worth 2 cents in the bedroom will be welcoming of this.
Well, especially because it has to do with your pleasure. Like, I think in general, like point blank, you should never spring an instrument into the bedroom that the use is for the other person without them knowing, without their consent. But like, this is for about you and for you. So I don't think there's a need to being like, oh, do I have to like give him a heads up or a warning? He'll just hear buzzing and be like, okay, cool. Like, what if he just opens his drawer and it's just like dildos and like lasso and
lassos.
I know that's what you said, and I said, sure, a lasso.
I didn't say lasso.
What did you say?
I don't know what I
said dildos. You said
I don't know, but it wasn't lasso.
Okay. Yeah, like what he could have all of those kinds of things, but in general, you bring your own. Yeah. Because also, where have his been?
Toys are the same place as dick has probably been. Toys are meant for fun. I don't care what kind of toy it is. Toys are meant for fun. I mean, like in what age group that you're in, toys.
Yeah, play,
fun time.
Have play, motherfucker, play.
Right.
I love this. I'm not send it expeditiously. We need to see.
Not the toy. Well, if you want to send the toy.
Oh, I'm sure I've seen
like
him, but
a link.
Yeah, a link. I would like to see
toy,
him.
But I want to see him.
I want to see him because I want to know what his like thing is. Because I learned a lot about wrestling from that podcast with Caleb and Drew and Brittany Broski, where Caleb was like obsessed with wrestling and Drew like knows a lot of like wrestling, knew all that stuff. And so they talked about this one guy who his like thing when they were a kid, like he sticks his butt and like rubs in people's face. And when they were playing pretend as kids, like that's when they would always make Caleb be. And he'd be like, oh man, again. Like, I want to be like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, I want to do something else. And he's like, okay. And so he like backs it up and like rubs butt in the face. I was like, oh, wrestling, kind of camp.
It is camp. They literally, when wrestling in the 80s, they had writers from soap operas were writing their storylines.
When I first saw pictures of like what the wrestling was at that time, and I saw the hair, I said, I'm that. The glam that's going into this.
It's so theatrical. And I'm just imagining this big, thick man, oiled up, ready to throw you around. And I'm excited for you.
Such a good time.
Right.
And I'm so happy for you. And I will say, I think everybody's fuck buddy should be like a professional wrestler. Like that's like, if you're going to have a fuck buddy, I don't think they should work in like private equity or like fine it. Like, unless they're giving you money as well, like have your fuck buddy, like have a fun, like cool job.
Mm-hmm.
Like a rugby player.
Have you ever gone to any of his matches? I was going to say meets. Any of his matches?
No, she says he's on TV. You should probably just pop on the telly. Hello, you've been inside me.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into an update.
Revolutionize your cooking with the Tefal Infrared Air Fryer. Watch as your food crisps up through a large lighted window and delight in faster, crispier, and juicier results with no preheating thanks to Tefal's advanced infrared technology. Discover the future of cooking and bring innovation into your kitchen by visiting Tefal.com.
Clorox Sentiva smells like lavender. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like...
All right, that could go on for a while. Experience the long-lasting freshness of Clorox Sentiva. Available in Clorox Sentiva Lavender-Scented Bleach. Use as directed.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. How can you free up your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders to not only streamline purchasing, but better support their teams so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more about the technology, insights, and support available at amazonbusiness.com.
We're back and it's time for an update. This is on about the movie photography job. Thank you so much for responding to my message about the movie photography job, even though I'm 90% sure I wrote in the wrong form. All of my friends and family have traditional 9-to-5, so I can't really rely on them for advice and would really be great. And I was really grateful for your perspectives. The guy who offered me the job is an old friend of my mom's husband, and everything my mom and her husband said about him was positive. So I was surprised when he acted like a dickwad. He and the other producers are experienced photographers, so I don't understand why they need me there. They don't. But I didn't even think about that until Melissa pointed out that they could do the work themselves. I don't know how to find out if it's a union set, but I definitely don't want to be involved if they're breaking union rules. The craziest part is I still don't know what the movie is called because they won't tell me. However, they keep trying to legitimize themselves by mentioning they got the special effects crew from The Substance, which was definitely a union film. I told them to send me a contract, but they haven't. So as far as I'm concerned, I can still back out if it happens.
Get out.
I can't stress this enough. This is like, you see these things posted on like the acting subreddit daily of people being like, hey, is this a scam? And everybody's like, yes, it's like textbook a scam. And people are like, well, what if this? And it's like, nope, it's always like this. It's always like this. Like, I can't stress how, like, you should never question if something is a union project. Mm-hmm. You would just know already. And like, there are ways.
All the job postings would have it listed like
that. That's what I'm saying. So like, even how like the jobs are presented, the jobs are offered, all of that is through like, there are union rules, and the union is not just SAG or SAG. There's not, or just actor. It's not just for acting and that aspect of it too. Like crew jobs, all of these different things. And getting a special effects team from something, first of all, a lot of the time people will say those things to try and legitimize it. And it's like, oh, this person assisted on one day of this movie. and that's the connection to it. So it will, if they are union, will explicitly be union. There will be a contract that you have to have signed and be done before you start. And there's quite literally no need to have a photographer on set, point blank.
Nope. They did later send us the name of it, so we will dig into this off mic.
Who'd they send? The name or of the
name
person?
of everything.
Okay.
The film, everything.
Well, they have the name of the movie now?
Uh-huh. And they had to find it themselves. It was not given to them. So all this just sounds sketchy as fuck. And you should get out. Mm-hmm. Get out. Do not do this. And do, as I said, of reaching out to film schools and asking if you can come do set photography, and they will let you keep your pictures and you can build up your portfolio that way.
Without a doubt, this film includes nudity and sex and all of the, like, it might even, and like, I just think, I think people look at this as like, oh, this is all fun and games and like, you know, it's entertainment, it's Hollywood. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Rust. That's the worst that could happen. Yeah. Like, and there are accidents that happen on union sets, really big union sets. And even if there's like not like a traditional stunt, even if it's whatever, in general, if there are no checks and balances for like the protocol and it's like kind of flying by the seat of the pants, you can't ensure that it's going to be safe because things can change at the drop of a hat. Like, oh, I want you to try doing this. I want you to try doing this. And like, yeah, it's just like people die.
Also, I'm not giving anything away by saying this, but there are children involved in this, and there's no way that everybody is staying on that campground that you described to us before.
And if they are, this is criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Kids can't work that long.
Nope.
Yeah, and at the end of the, like, I know you're like, well, I don't want to report them if they are breaking union rules, blah blah blah. Just know that, like, if you are there and you witness something happening, you will then be
liable.
You will be liable, and you need to.
And you can be put on a list where you'll never be able to work on a film ever again.
Yeah, and it's so much better to say something. And again, like, we'll look into it. We can report it. Like, you don't have to be the one who does that, but like to just kind of hope for the best and then do, like, yeah, it's just, I think there's responsibility when you recognize that something's off, especially if there's kids involved. Ugh. Well, can't wait to rat someone out. I love calling the union. I've actually never done it. I've had people who've done it, and I was like, oh my God. And like a union rep came and I was like, whoa. And then someone like followed up with me being like, hey, did you talk to them? And I was like, oh, what, did you? And they're like, yeah, just making sure you were good. I was like, oh my God, I wasn't going to call, but that's so, and like, I wish I did. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I was also working on a project that got flipped, and I was glad it got flipped. It had nothing to do with my position that I was working in. But I was glad it got flipped because it made it better for everybody else working on the show.
Yeah. And like when someone called on my behalf for like a safety thing on a set and they like called like a union rep, I had no idea they were doing it. And afterwards, like I was so grateful, and like moving forward, I've had no qualms making sure that like everybody else is, because like when someone looks out for you like that and you're like, oh, okay, this is how it's supposed to work. No one found out that it was like, I didn't do anything, but like this person told me that it was them, and because they wanted to make sure that everything was going to be okay. And then like shit got better.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. This is a good thing. I shouldn't be people like putting this fear in this of snitching or whatever. Like, oh, that's because like you make more money when you can cut corners and it's less safe. But like, I'm just less safe.
Yeah. And even the project I was working on, when we came back for the next seasons, it was just automatically union because it had already been flipped first year. And so it made everything a lot easier. Like everything was so much easier, and I felt safer and more protected on set.
Yeah. The only people who are like anti union are the people who can make money by exploiting.
Yeah. People that aren't creative with a smaller budget.
Yep.
And that to me means you're not a good filmmaker if you can't be creative with a small budget.
No.
All right, we're done.
Woo! We hope you all enjoyed. Did you love it? Was it the best? Don't tell us if it wasn't. I know it was. I know it was.
Why would you ask them?
I know. I don't know.
The only approval you need is me.
It's factually true. We hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, you can leave us a review in the podcast app as well as Spotify. You can leave an individual review for the episode like the ones we read earlier. And join the Patreon. We do live streams. You can watch the video versions of the podcast there. You can also watch ad-free. We also have a host of other shows. What are they, Melissa?
Well, thank you so much for listening to this one. Please spread the word to your friends, but you can also let them know about our show tomorrow called Fisting Friday, where that is just us catching up, talking about pop culture stuff, probably talking about things that we've watched, maybe talking about Paradise. I don't know. And then on Monday, we have But Am I Wrong, which is a show where you will ask, was I wrong in this situation? We also present things from our own lives where we might have been wrong and present something from pop culture that we know for a fact is wrong. Then we've got Tuesday, which is See You Next Tuesday. That's where we review what we did on the previous Monday's episode of But Am I Wrong? We've put it out to a vote for you all to vote on, and then we share the results and your thoughts and feelings, because you can send us a DM with what your own opinion was on the situation. Wednesday, that's time for you to catch up, time for you to share what your favorite episode is. And then we'll be back here on Thursday for another brand spanking new episode of Don't Blame Me.
Smack that. Wonderful, wonderful. We will see you next time.
Goodbye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Can you actually change your personality if you want to? How does peer pressure work, and why is it so powerful? Should you ever really trust your gut when you make a big decision? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and each episode of Something You Should Know covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. You'll discover things you can use in your life today, right now, like how to have a great conversation, how to be more courageous, the anatomy of the perfect apology, and much, much more. To date, there are over 1,000 episodes of Something You Should Know, and we've gotten over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know. Look for the bright yellow light bulb on the blue background. Something You Should Know, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Have you ever heard about the 19th century French actress with so many lovers that they formed a lovers' union? Or what about the Aboriginal Australian bandit who faked going into labor just to escape the police, which she did escape from them. It was a great plan. How about the French queen who murdered her rival with poison gloves? I'm Ann Foster, host of the feminist women's history comedy podcast, Vulgar History. Every week I share the saga of a woman from history whose story you probably didn't already know, and you will never forget after you hear it. Sometimes we re-examine well-known people like Cleopatra or Pocahontas, sharing the truth behind their legends. Sometimes we look at the scandalous women you'll never find in a history textbook. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts. And if you're curious, the people I was talking about before, the Australian woman is named Marianne Bugg, and the French actress was named Rochelle, no last name, just Rochelle. And the queen who poisoned her rival is Catherine de Medici. I have episodes about all of them.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.